I am Ravi Visvesvaraya Sharada Prasad. In her recently published book titled How Prime Ministers Decide, the well known political analyst and contributing editor of the Indian Express newspaper, Neeraja Chowdhury, she claimed that the RSS, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, had made overtures to Prime Minister Indira Gandhi during the emergency. And in 2015, the former chief of the Intelligence Bureau, Sri T.V. Rajeshwar, too had claimed in his book titled The Crucial Years, as well as in television interviews, that the RSS, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, had attempted to establish contact with Indira Gandhi and Sanjay Gandhi, but that she had rebuffed their overtures to her. The advance publicity material for Neeraja Chowdhury's book states former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi had good relations with several RSS leaders. Just as the Sangh brass reached out to her for help, she too used the RSS for her purposes, but she carefully kept a distance between that organization and herself. For all her opposition to the RSS, she managed to get it to support the emergency. Sensing the unhappiness amongst Muslims about the Congress, she wanted to Hinduize her politics, aware that a silent nudge from the RSS or even a neutral stand by them towards her might help. Press reports about Neeraja Chowdhury's book say the RSS helped Indira Gandhi come to power in 1980. Indira Gandhi's close aide Anil Bali is quoted as saying, she knew the RSS had supported her, but she never acknowledged it publicly. She used to admit privately that had it not been for the support by the RSS, she would not have won 353 seats, one more than she had won in her heyday in 1971, Bali claims. RSS chief Balasaheb Devras remarked, Indira Gandhi bahut badi Hindu hai. Bala Sahib Devras and his brother saw in Indira Gandhi a potential leader of the Hindus. Bali is quoted as saying. So these were from press reports about Neeraja Chowdhury's book. And her book also mentions that Indira Gandhi had authorized her elder son Rajiv Gandhi to meet with RSS leader Bhaurao Devras, Murlidhar Dattatreya Devras, who was the brother of the RSS chief Bala Sahib Devras and a senior RSS leader in his own right. And these meetings were arranged by the liquor manufacturer, the Mohan Meekins family, Kapil Mohan, and his nephew Anil Bali. And the book also mentions that Bhaurao Devras also met Rajiv Gandhi at his 10 Janpat residence after he had demitted power as prime minister. Now, I have written numerous articles in Open Magazine, in Indian Express newspaper, and in Shekhar Gupta's The Print Journal about the role played by the RSS during the emergency and how the RSS exploited JP, that's Loknayak Jai Prakash Narayan, And in some of my articles, I had also described the interactions between the RSS and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who is now the hero of the Sangh Parivar. So please Google for Ravi Visvesvaraya, Sharada Prasad, and RSS emergency, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, Indira Gandhi, and emergency. Please Google and search for my published articles on these topics. In recent years, the RSS have been publicizing that they staunchly opposed the emergency declared by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1975, June 1975. However, the truth is much more complex and nuanced. The various organizations of the Sangh Parivar were not unanimous nor monolithic in their opposition to the emergency. Many of them were grateful to Indira Gandhi for breaking up Pakistan, for the 1974 nuclear explosions, and they perceived Sanjay Gandhi as a natural ally of their policies because of Sanjay Gandhi's anti communist, pro business outlook and his advocacy of family planning, which were targeted mainly at the Muslim community. Among the NDA allies, Bala Sahib Thackeray and the Shiv Sena enthusiastically supported the emergency, whereas the Akalis staunchly resisted the emergency. One of the major reasons why Indira Gandhi declared the emergency was that she wanted to destroy the RSS and its student wing, the ABVP, the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, and she threw the cadres of the RSS and the ABVP into jail. But many of the top leaders of the RSS and the Bharatiya Janasangh, they sought a compromise with Indira Gandhi. However, other RSS and ABVP cadres, they very heroically resisted the emergency either in jail or underground in hiding. The relations between the RSS and the Congress party were not always antagonistic. There were numerous shades of gray, twists and turns over the decades. At the time of independence, just after the horrors of partition, many of the top Congress leaders were sympathetic to the Hindutva ideology, and the RSS reached out to them to work together in the national interest. Soon after independence and the partition, the Sarsang Chalak of the RSS, Guruji Madhav Sadashiv Golwalkar, he proposed to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel that the Congress and the RSS should work together. I and all my co workers have been striving from the very start to cooperate with you to bring the situation under control and make our motherland invincible. Keeping in mind the delicate situation in the country and with a view to removing dissensions for the sake of a glorious future, I have instructed all my Swayam Sevak brothers to be peaceful, and I shall strive to see that between the Congress, which is capable of delivering the goods in the political field and is at present the ruling party, and the RSS in the cultural field, which has achieved success in creating a matchless spirit of patriotism, brotherhood, and selflessness among the people. There be no bad blood, there be only everlasting love, one supplementing and complementing the other, both meeting in a sacred conference. I extend to you my hand of cooperation. So this is what Guruji M.S. Golwalkar of the RSS had proposed to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And Sardar Patel, he actually wanted the RSS to merge itself into the Congress because he viewed them as a disciplined cadre, although somewhat misguided. In a speech in Lucknow on 6th January 1948, Sardar Patel had declared, in the Congress, those who are in power feel that by the virtue of authority, they will be able to crush the RSS. You cannot crush an organization by using the danda. The danda is meant for thieves and dacoits. They are patriots who love their country. Only the trend of thought is diverted. They are to be won over by congressmen by love. And Indira Gandhi, she reported this speech of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel to her father Jawaharlal Nehru. Having grown up in the 1930s Europe, she was well aware that the strategy of the fascists and the Nazis was to infiltrate organizations from within by placing their members in low level positions but which interacted with the public. Um, in the late 1940s and early 1950s, my mother, who worked in the home department of Bombay state government, and she had a postgraduate degree in psychology. So my mother had investigated the recruitment and indoctrination techniques of the RSS and the Hindu Mahasabha. And my mother was also a part of the prosecution team in the Mahatma Gandhi murder trial. So the RSS strategy was to place its members as school teachers so that they could brainwash impressionable young minds, as well as to place its members as beat constables, as postmen, as railway workers, as bank clerks, in posts where they dealt with the mass public and so could influence the perceptions of the mass public. And Jawaharlal Nehru, he wrote to chief ministers warning them against allowing their governments to be infiltrated by the RSS. But the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi on 30 June 1948 totally changed the relations between the RSS and Sardar Patel because the RSS had celebrated the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he wrote to Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru on 27th February 1948, the RSS was not involved in it at all. It was a fanatical wing of the Hindu Mahasabha directly under Savarkar that hatched the conspiracy and saw it through. Of course, his assassination was welcomed by those of the RSS and the Mahasabha who were strongly opposed to his way of thinking and to his policy. But beyond this, I do not think it is possible, on the evidence which has come before us, to implicate any other members of the RSS or the Hindu Mahasabha. Regarding the involvement of the Hindu Mahasabha and the RSS, it is significant that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel wrote to Shama Prasad Mukherjee, and Shama Prasad Mukherjee was the head of the Hindu Mahasabha and a cabinet minister in the government of Jawaharlal Nehru and a founding father of the Janasangh. So Sardar Patel wrote to Shama Prasad Mukherjee, I quite agree with you that the Hindu Mahasabha as an organization was not concerned in the conspiracy that led to Gandhi's murder. But at the same time, we cannot shut our eyes to the fact that an appreciable number of the members of the Mahasabha gloated over the tragedy and distributed sweets. On this matter, reliable reports have come to us from all parts of the country. And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel added, further, militant communalism, which was preached until only a few months ago by many spokesmen of the Mahasabha, could not but be regarded as a danger to public security. The same would apply to the RSS, with the additional danger inherent in an organization run in secret on military or semi military lines. And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he again wrote to Shama Prasad Mukherjee on 18th July 1948, as regards the RSS and the Hindu Mahasabha, the case regarding to Gandhiji's murder is sub judice, and I should not like to say anything about the participation of the two organizations. But our reports do confirm that as a result of the activities of these two bodies, particularly the former, an atmosphere was created in the country in which such a ghastly tragedy became possible. And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel continued in his letter to Shama Prasad Mukherjee, there is no doubt in my mind that the extreme section of the Hindu Mahasabha was involved in this conspiracy. The activities of the RSS constituted a clear threat to the existence of the government and the state. Our reports show that those activities, despite the ban, have not died down. Indeed, as time has marched on, the RSS circles are becoming more defiant and are indulging in their subversive activities in an increasing measure. This is what Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel wrote to Shama Prasad Mukherjee on 18th July 1948. And after he banned the RSS in February 1948, following the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi, Sardar Patel conducted secret negotiations with Eknath Ramakrishna Ranade, who was second to Guruji Golwalkar in the RSS hierarchy, and Sardar Patel invited the RSS to merge itself into the Congress, writing to Guruji M.S. Golwalkar on 11th September 1948. In this delicate hour, there is no place for party conflicts and old quarrels. I am thoroughly convinced that the RSS men can carry on their patriotic endeavor only by joining the Congress. And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel further wrote to Guruji M.S. Golwalkar on 26 September 1948. My suggestion to you is that the Sangh should be brought to adopt fresh lines of technique and policy. That new technique and new policy can only be according to the rules of the Congress. And when Jawaharlal Nehru was abroad to attend a Commonwealth conference, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he extended a formal invitation from the Congress party to members of the banned RSS organization to join the Congress. But Jawaharlal Nehru, he stymied this move of Sardar Patel to have the RSS cadres joined the Congress, because Nehru equated the RSS with the European Nazis and fascists. And Nehru was very well aware that their strategy was to infiltrate institutions from within. And Nehru also suspected that Sardar Patel wanted to use these erstwhile members of the RSS to undermine his support base, that is, Nehru's support base within the Congress party. So, thwarted by Nehru in his attempts to incorporate the RSS into the Congress party, Sardar Patel he dictated the constitution of the RSS through Eknath Ramakrishna Ranade and Bhayaji Prabhakar Balwant Dani. And incidentally, it was actually Dani who had recruited Golwalkar into the RSS, and also Bala Saheb Madhukar Dattatreya Devras. So Sardar Patel dictated the constitution of the RSS through Rana Day and Balwant Dani and Bala Saheb Devras. And in fact, Govind Ballabh Pant, who was the then premier of the United Provinces, and Lal Bahadur Shastri, who was the then Home Minister of the United Provinces, they had actually saved Guruji M.S. Golwalkar from being arrested by the UP police for inciting communal violence during partition. And these two, Govind Ballabh Pant and Lal Bahadur Shastri, they aided Golwalkar's escape. And after Sardar Patel's demise in December 1950, Nehru carried out a purge of the Hindutva sympathizers in the Congress party, getting rid of the Congress party president, Purushottam Das Tandon. Now, to skip ahead a couple of decades, since 1972, the then Sangachalak of the RSS, Bala Saheb Devras, Madhukar Dattatreya Devras, he kept reaching out to Indira Gandhi to work together unitedly rather than be antagonistic. And this is what Neeraja Chowdhury says in her book. This is what the former chief of the Intelligence Bureau and the governor of Uttar Pradesh, T.V. Rajeshwar, had mentioned in 2015 in his book. And this is something that my family members have personal knowledge of. So Bala Saheb Devras, he kept reaching out to Indira Gandhi that in the national interest, let us work together rather than fritter away our energies in fighting each other. But a very wary, suspicious Indira Gandhi, she rebuffed all of Bala Saheb Devras's overtures. And Devras then sought to build bridges with Sanjay Gandhi, whose anti communist, pro business views were in sync with the RSS. And to jump ahead to what led to the emergency, in February 1974, student agitation in Gujarat succeeded in forcing the Chief Minister Chimanbhai Patel to resign. And inspired by their successes, the student organizations, the ABVP, the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad of the Bharatiya Janasangh, and the Samajwadi Yuvajan Sabha of the Samajwadi Party, they began an agitation in Bihar against the Chief Minister Abdul Ghaffur in March 1974. But the ABVP's parent organizations, the RSS and the Bharatiya Janasangh, they were not enthusiastic about joining in the agitation against the Bihar Chief Minister, because strikes and gheraos went against the image of discipline which the Janasangh wanted to project, and also strikes and gheraos hit the livelihoods of the Janasangh's core voter base, core membership of traders and business people. And the Bihar Chhatra Sangharsh Samiti was formed in March 1974. It was led by Lalu Prasad Yadav, Sushil Kumar Modi, and Ramvilas Paswan, and JP Loknayak Jaiprakash Narayan, to whom my family was extremely close to. So JP agreed to be associated with this BCSS. And all through the summer of 1974, Indira Gandhi and Jaiprakash Narayan, they attempted to negotiate a compromise, because don't forget how close Indira Gandhi and JP were. JP was the closest friend and confidant of Jawaharlal Nehru, and Nehru had hoped that JP would succeed him as prime minister. Nehru had tried to groom JP to be the prime minister after him. And Indira Gandhi's negotiators were her principal secretary, Professor P.N. Dhar, and my father, H.Y. Sharada Prasad, who was the information advisor to Indira Gandhi. And JP's chief negotiator was my maternal uncle, K.S. Radhakrishna, who was head of the Gandhi Peace Foundation. And Radhakrishna had been the main advisor of JP for several decades. And both P.N. Dhar and my father were very close to Jayaprakash Narayan too. And they were the ones who were led Indira Gandhi's negotiating team with JP. And Sanjay Gandhi, he tried very hard to sabotage these negotiations. And Indira Gandhi agreed to all of JP's demands except the dissolution of the Bihar Assembly. And her team, that is P.N. Dhar and my father, H.Y. Sharada Prasad, they entreated JP to sort out his differences with Indira Gandhi at the hustings, since elections to the Lok Sabha were due before March 1976. But then what happened is that the well known journalist Said Naqvi, he published a report in the Statesman newspaper giving details of these secret negotiations between my father and my maternal uncle. And as a result of Said Naqvi's publication, these negotiations between Indira Gandhi's team and Jayaprakash Narayan had to be very abruptly aborted just as they were on the verge of success. And Saeed Naqvi, he had played right into the hands of Sanjay Gandhi, who was trying very hard to sabotage the negotiations between his mother and her father's closest friend and confidant, Jaiprakash Narayan. And Saeed Naqvi, till date, till today, he has not revealed how he obtained my father's secret handwritten notes to Indira Gandhi, as well as my uncle's confidential reports to JP. Most probably, he said that we got them from one of Sanjay Gandhi's moles or informers, but this led to the breakdown of talks between Jayaprakash Narayan and Indira Gandhi just as they were on the verge of success. And it is quite possible that the emergency might not have taken been declared or taken the form it took if Saeed Naqvi had not published this report. And then, as a consequence of Saeed Naqvi's publishing his report without consulting his own negotiating team, JP, his negotiating team was K.S. Radhakrishna, who was head of the Gandhi Peace Foundation, and Sugata Das Gupta, who was the head of JP's Gandhian Institute of Studies at Varanasi, and retired Justice V.M. Tarkunde and Achyut Patwardhan, who was a co-founder with JP of the Congress Socialist Party in 1931. So, without consulting his closest advisors, JP, on the advice of Ramnath Goenka, the owner of the Indian Express, JP very suddenly asked Subramanian Swamy, who was then a Bharatiya Janasangh Rajya Sabha MP from Uttar Pradesh, to ascertain from the RSS stalwart Nanaji Deshmukh if the RSS was willing to provide him the cadre strength which he required for his protracted, long struggle against Indira Gandhi. And ever since they had met at Harvard or MIT and Boston, Cambridge in 1968, Subramaniam Swamy, he exercised an inexplicable, mesmerizing, hypnotic hold on JP, the hero of the 1942 Quit India movement. And in 1953, Nanaji Deshmukh had gone on a year's deputation from the RSS to Acharya Vinoba Bhave's ashram, and JP, Nanaji Deshmukh, and my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna, they worked very closely together on Sarvodaya. And so this is how JP had got to know Nanaji Deshmukh, and he asked Subramanian Swamy to re-establish contact on his behalf with Nanaji Deshmukh, the RSS leader. In 1972, JP had suffered a very severe heart attack, and he was recuperating at the ashram of my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna near Bengaluru. And Radhakrishna, he invited several of JP's friends to boost his spirits. And there it was that Subramanian Swamy, he brainwashed a very ill, ailing JP to re-enter active politics, to lead the opposition to Indira Gandhi, the daughter of his closest friend, the daughter of the man he regarded as his elder brother. So Subramanian Swamy, he convened a meeting at the Allahabad residence of Murli Manohar Joshi, to which he invited JP and Nanaji Deshmukh and K.N. Govindacharya and Kailashpati Mishra, all RSS leaders. And it was decided at this meeting that the Bihar student leaders, Lalu Prasad Yadav, Sushil Kumar Modi, Ram Vilas Paswan, Sharad Yadav, Nitish Kumar, Ravi Shankar Prasad, that these student leaders, they would cede the leadership of their agitation to JP and Nanaji Deshmukh. And JP's own team of K.S. Radhakrishna, Sugata Dasgupta, Achyut Patwardhan, and Justice V.M. Tarkunde, his closest associates for decades, as well as JP's political heir Chandrasekhar, who was a senior Congress MP. And Chandrasekhar was also close to Indira Gandhi. His support was very crucial to Indira Gandhi in 1969. So Chandrasekhar regarded JP as his political mentor, and JP regarded Chandrasekhar as his political heir. And Chandrasekhar was the leader of the Young Turks section in the Congress party. So they were all kept totally in the dark about JP's very abruptly tying up with the RSS, all in the course of a couple of days. And they were totally aghast at JP's suddenly abandoning the principles of a lifetime, since JP had been second only to Jawaharlal Nehru in vociferously condemning Hindutva and the RSS. In fact, one of the reasons why JP was left the Congress Party in 1948 was because he felt that uh, Jawaharlal Nehru was not harsh enough against the RSS. And so everyone was aghast, especially Chandrasekhar, who was really JP's political counselor and heir. So P. N. Dhar and my father, they reminded JP of his past statements about the RSS, and JP had said, although almost every religious community has its own brand of communalism, Hindu communalism is more pernicious than others because Hindu communalism can easily masquerade as Indian nationalism and denounce all opposition to it as being anti national. And JP had also said some, like the RSS, might do it openly by identifying the Indian nation with Hindu Rashtra. Others might do it more subtly. But in every case, such identification is pregnant with national disintegration because members of other communities can never accept the position of second class citizens. Such a situation, therefore, hastened the seeds of perpetual conflict and ultimate disruption. And another statement of JP was, those who attempt to equate India with Hindus and Indian history with Hindu history are only detracting from the greatness of India and the glory of Indian history and civilization. Such persons, paradoxical though this may seem, are in reality the enemies of Hinduism itself and of the Hindus. Not only do they degrade the noble religion and destroy its catholicity and spirit of tolerance and harmony, but they also weaken and sunder the fabric of the nation, of which Hindus form such a vast majority. So, this is what JP had said about the RSS over the decades, and P. Dhar and my father, they reminded JP about these past statements of his, and JP explained that he required a cadre based organization to take on Indira Gandhi, and the only two cadre based organizations were the communists and the RSS. And JP had not forgotten the role of the CPI, the Communist Party of India, during the freedom struggle when the CPI had collaborated with the British. So JP chose to go along with the RSS. And my father, H.Y. Sharada Prasad, he remarked in anguish to JP that if his wife Prabhavati Devi ji was still alive, she would never have allowed him to ally with the RSS. She would never have allowed him to uh, drift so far apart from the daughter of his closest friend, and she would never ever have allowed him to tie up with his sworn enemy, the RSS. And the final straw for Indira Gandhi was when JP addressed the RSS workers, declaring, if the RSS is fascist, then so am I. And on the RSS side, too, it's Sarsangachalak, Bala Sahib Devras, and several of the top RSS pracharaks in Nagpur, as well as many leaders of the Bharatiya Janasangh, such as Atal Bihari Vajpayee. They were not really consulted by Nanaji Deshmukh and the others at this meeting, and these leaders remained aloof to JP's Sampurna Kranti Andolan and Eknath Ramakrishna Ranade, who had a very high moral stature and who had a good working relationship with Indira Gandhi. Ranade too was against the ABVP, indulging in strikes and gheraos, cautioning that these were damaging the nation. And Vajpayee too, he counseled Raj Narayan to drop his election petition against Indira Gandhi, that Vajpayee was a conciliator. He did not believe in opposition for the sake of opposition, but that parties should work together in the national interest. But public opinion turned sharply against Indira Gandhi and in favor of JP's Sampurna Kranti Andolan because of police brutality on JP and Nanaji Deshmukh. On 4th November 1974, JP and Nanaji Deshmukh, they led a massive rally in Patna, and the police, they beat up JP with lathis, breaking his collarbones, his elbows, and his legs. And Nanaji Deshmukh, he very courageously threw himself over JP's unconscious body, and Nanaji Deshmukh himself suffered from very grievous injuries, but he saved JP from certain death. And JP, He had named Nanaji Deshmukh as the general secretary of his Lok Sangharsh Samiti. And after this brutal attack on JP and Nanaji Deshmukh, JP nominated Nanaji Deshmukh to take over his movement if anything happened to him, if anything happened to JP. And Nanaji Deshmukh, in turn, he nominated Sundar Singh Bhandari of the RSS and Dattopat Thengdi of the RSS to take over the leadership of the movement if anything happened to him, if anything happened to Nanaji. And Indira Gandhi, she regarded Nanaji Deshmukh as one of the most formidable of her political adversaries because Nanaji Deshmukh and the RSS, their ideology was totally antithetical to her ideals of India as a secular nation. But with all her opposition to the RSS, she was not above exploiting the RSS, and she very shrewdly managed to get some sections of the RSS to support her. And in fact, the Mohan Meakin liquor group, they had long tried to bring about a rapprochement between Indira Gandhi and the RSS, especially with Nanaji Deshmukh and Bala Saheb Devras. The Mohan Meakin family had been close friends of the Nehru family since the days of Jawaharlal Nehru, and they were especially close to Sanjay Gandhi. But for all their business interests, they had to fund politicians across the political spectrum, and they financed Nanaji Deshmukh. They, along with Nasli Wadia, were among the key financiers of Nanaji Deshmukh. And the Mohan Meakin Group, they also funded Indira Gandhi's nemesis, Raj Narayan, and who was their troubleshooter in Uttar Pradesh, where they had several distilleries. So, following the alliance between Jayaprakash Narayan and Nanaji Deshmukh, Indira Gandhi decided to crack down hard on the Anand Marg, the ABVP, and the RSS, as well as other extremist organizations, including among the Muslims. And Indira Gandhi, she was even more antagonistic to the student wing, the ABVP, than she was to its parent organization, the RSS, because with a deep knowledge of European political history, Indira Gandhi knew that most revolutions arose from student unrests. So on 8 January 1975, Siddharth Shankar Ray, who was the chief minister of West Bengal and a noted barrister, Law Minister H.R. Gokhale, the Congress Party President Devkant Barua, and Rajni Patel, who was the strong man of the Congress Party in Bombay and a leading barrister, they together planned what became the emergency, and the private secretary to the Prime Minister, R.K. Dhawan, the Minister of State for Home, Om Mehta, and the Chief Minister of Haryana, Bansi Lal, they planned the arrests of members of the ABVP and the RSS and the Anand Marg, and they instructed the chief ministers of several Congress-ruled states, mainly in the Hindi heartland, to prepare lists of members of these organizations. Now, jumping ahead to the emergency, on the night of 26 June 1975, JP was arrested from the home of my maternal uncle, K.S. Radhakrishna, from his residence at the Gandhi Peace Foundation, and my cousin K.R. Chandrahas. He went into an adjoining building and he began telephoning various political leaders that the police had come to arrest JP and that they were likely to be arrested too. So my cousin Chandrahas, he telephoned Nanaji Deshmukh and Madan Lal Khurana, who were at the RSS headquarters at Rani Jhansi Road in Jhandewala, and they managed to escape a few minutes before the police force arrived there. And a senior police officer, he called up Subramanian Swamy, at 4 a.m. and asked him if he could come over to Swami's residence straight away to discuss some urgent issues. So Subramanian Swami asked this police officer what could be so urgent at 4 a.m. And speaking very slowly and emphatically, the police officer said, "If you would happen to not be at home when I come." And Subramanian Swami understood what this police officer was hinting at, and he quickly made his escape, and he organized resistance to the emergency all over India as well as in USA and UK. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Lal Krishna Advani, they were arrested in Bengaluru, where they had gone for a parliamentary committee meeting. Arun Jaitley, who was the head of the ABVP in Delhi, he was among the first to be arrested after delivering a speech at Delhi University, and his getaway scooter, which was to be driven by Prabhu Chawla, that failed to turn up. So Arun Jaitley, spent the entire emergency in jail. But other ABVP leaders such as Balbir Punj and Prabhu Chawla, they quickly pledged allegiance to Indira Gandhi's 20-point program, the B-Sutri Arthik Karyakram, and to Sanjay Gandhi's 5-point program in return for staying out of jail. And the RSS Sarsangachalak Bala Sahib Devras, he was arrested at Nagpur on 30 June 1975, and the RSS as an organization was banned on 4th July 1975. So on 27th June 1975, Indira Gandhi sent cables to several world leaders explaining why she was compelled to declare the emergency. And she stated, "I am not sure you have been properly informed of what has been happening here. Jaiprakash Narayan has aligned himself with the RSS, the organization which instigated Mahatma Gandhi's murder and which is fanatically Hindu." And my father, H.Y. Sharada Prasad, who was the information advisor to Indira Gandhi and one of her closest advisors, my father wrote to Kanwar Natwar Singh, who was then the Deputy High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. My father wrote on 20th July 1975, instructing Natwar Singh about how to explain the emergency to Western leaders. So my father wrote, "When we speak of our political structure or aims, the leftists only speak of socialism. The Anglo-US European liberals only of pluralistic democracy. Neither group gives much importance to secularism, and secularism is the very base of Indian democracy." And my father continued, "The cardinal mistake of JP and company was to hand over the controls to the RSS, and no man in the senses can ever say that an RSS led opposition front can preserve a system based upon religious tolerance and equality." And my father went on, "Those who were directly responsible for making a deal with the RSS and handing over the reins of the protest movement to Nanaji Deshmukh have been rounded up. And all those organizers of RSS, Anand Marg, Jamaat, the Chhatra Sangharsh Samitis, or the Jan Sangharsh Samiti of Bihar have also been nabbed." So this is what my father, H.Y. Sharda Prasad, wrote to Kanwar Natwar Singh in UK on 20th July 1975. Uh, to elaborate, the senior leaders of the RSS were divided about the emergency. Several opposed it very staunchly. Other RSS leaders apologized to Indira Gandhi and they were released from prison. And several senior leaders, notably Bala Saheb Devras and Atal Bihari Vajpayee, they sought an accommodation with Sanjay Gandhi and Indira Gandhi. The RSS leaders who led the resistance to the emergency were Dattopant Thingri, Madhavrao Mule, Moropant Pingle, Rajendra Singh, and Bhau Sahib Devras, who was the brother of Bala Sahib Devras. So while Bala Sahib Devras wanted an accommodation with Indira Gandhi and was reaching out to her since 1972, Bhau Sahib Devras was strongly opposed to Indira Gandhi, but these zonal RSS leaders, they also authorized Eknath Ramakrishna Ranade to quietly enter into a dialogue with Indira Gandhi. And in the 1960s, Indira Gandhi had helped Rana Day, and Rana Day was second only to Guruji Golwalkar in the RSS hierarchy. So Indira Gandhi had helped Rana Day to build the Vivekananda Kendra over very vehement objections from the Congress government of Tamil Nadu and her own cabinet colleagues led by Humayun Kabir. And Indira Gandhi, she had nominated Eknath Ramakrishna Day to the governing council of the Indian Council of Cultural Relations. And these two, they used ICCR as a facade to conduct secret one-on-one negotiations. My father, H.Y. Sharada Prasad, was a vice president of the ICCR. So he facilitated these meetings, but he was not a part of them. These meetings between Rana Day and Indira Gandhi were one-on-one. But again, many of the RSS rank and file, they alleged that Eknath Ramakrishna Ranade was being exploited by Indira Gandhi to sabotage the RSS resistance to the emergency. And to digress a little, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he has stated that Ranade was his guru and his mentor in the RSS. Now, about Bala Sahib Devras from Yerawada jail, the RSS Sarasanga Chalak Bala Sahib Devras, he wrote numerous times to Indira Gandhi and to the Maharashtra Chief Minister S.B. Chavan, Shankar Rao Chavan, and to Acharya Vinoba Bhave, seeking a compromise on 22nd August 1975. Bala Sahib Devras wrote to Indira Gandhi, I heard your Independence Day address to the nation from Red Fort on the radio with attention. Your address was timely and balanced. And Indira Gandhi, she did not respond to Bala Sahib Devras. So he wrote to her again on 10th November 1975, congratulating her on the Supreme Court upholding her election. All the five justices of the Supreme Court have declared your election constitutional. Heartiest greetings for it. And Bala Sahib Devras, he went on to disassociate the RSS from the JP movement, stating in this letter to Indira Gandhi, dated 10th November 1975, the RSS has been named in the context of Jayaprakash Narayan's movement. The movement has also connected the RSS with the Gujarat movement and the Bihar movement without any reason. Sorry, the government has also connected the RSS with the Gujarat movement and the Bihar movement without any reason. The Sangh has no relation with these movements. And as I mentioned earlier, Bala Sahib Devras and the other RSS leaders in Nagpur, they were not consulted when Subramanian Swamy introduced Jayaprakash Narayan to Nanaji Deshmukh and to Murli Manohar Joshi and K.N. Govindacharya and Kailashpati Mishra. And Indira Gandhi, she did not respond to this letter from Bala Sahib Devras either. So Devras, he wrote again to Acharya Vinoba Bhave on 12th January 1976, asking him to intercede with Indira Gandhi to revoke the ban on the RSS. I beg you to try to remove the wrong assumptions that the PM has about the RSS so that the ban on the RSS is lifted and RSS members are released from jails. We are looking forward to the times when RSS members are able to contribute to the plans of progress under the leadership of the respected PM. And Acharya Vinoba Bhave, he did not respond to Bala Sahib Devras either. And K. Sudarshan, he delivered a speech at Ville Parle, strongly praising the emergency and Indira Gandhi for ushering in the discipline which the RSS had been asking for decades. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he was in ill health. He had been in and out of hospital and had numerous surgeries. And he had spent most of the emergency under parole in his residence after he gave an undertaking to Indira Gandhi in September 1975 that he would not oppose the emergency. And Vajpayee had even indicated to Indira Gandhi that he was prepared to sever his links with the RSS if that would keep him out of prison. Um, on 16th December 1976, two key members of Sanjay Gandhi's cabal, Om Mehta, the Minister of State for Home, and Muhammad Yunus, an old Nehru family loyalist, they invited some of the non-Hindutva secular opposition leaders, Biju Patnaik, Ashoka Mehta, H.M. Patel, N.G. Gore, Samar Guha, Pilu Modi, and Krishnakant for talks. And these secular opposition leaders, they mooted that some of the more stringent provisions of the emergency were first relaxed, then they would be willing to work together with Indira Gandhi on certain policies in the national interest and not oppose her in other spheres. And the DMK, Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, whose government in Tamil Nadu had been dismissed by Indira Gandhi, the DMK too agreed that they would not oppose her. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he was not invited for these talks. He found out about these talks, and Vajpayee visited Om Mehta in the last week of December 1976. And so Vajpayee went on his own initiative. It was not as if Om Mehta had invited Vajpayee or anyone from the Jana Sangh or the RSS. There was no way that Indira Gandhi would negotiate directly with the Jana Sangh or the RSS. And it was very strongly rumored that in his meeting with Om Mehta, Vajpayee had offered to sever his connections with the RSS and also reveal the whereabouts of Subramanian Swamy, Madhav Rao Mule, and other RSS activists who were still underground and opposing the emergency. And Om Mehta was responsible for several of the excesses of the emergency. And soon after his return from his meeting with Om Mehta, Vajpayee ordered the cadres of the ABVP to apologize unconditionally to Indira Gandhi for inciting violence. And the ABVP students, they very indignantly refused to obey Vajpayee, saying that they would rather be in jail than apologize to Indira Gandhi. And in my articles in Open Magazine, I have described how my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna used these incidents to prevent Vajpayee from becoming the deputy prime minister in the Janata government in March 1977. Vajpayee had worked out a deal with Jagjeevan Ram that the members of the erstwhile Janasangh in the Janata Party that they would support Jagjeevan Ram for the prime ministership, and in return, Vajpayee would become the deputy prime minister to Jagjeevan Ram. And Radhakrishna, he was determined to make Moraji Desai the prime minister. So my mama, maternal uncle Radhakrishna, he threatened Vajpayee that if he did not transfer his support from Jagjeevan Ram to Moraji Desai. Then that is Radhakrishna, would publicize uh, Vajpayee's meetings with Om Mehta and the deal that Vajpayee was supposed to have struck with Om Mehta, that he was willing to sever his connections with the RSS and reveal the whereabouts of RSS leaders who were still underground. And again, in my articles in Open Magazine, I described how my maternal uncle K.S. Radhakrishna had offered the deputy prime ministership and the industry ministry to Nanaji Deshmukh. But Nanaji Deshmukh by then had become so disgusted at the infighting between Moraji Desai and Charan Singh and Jagjeevan Ram, even as the results of the Janata Party victory were being declared, that Nanaji Deshmukh declined to become the deputy prime minister and industry minister, and Nanaji Deshmukh preferred to strengthen the organization by being the general secretary of the Janata Party. So, to return to other RSS leaders who apologized to Indira Gandhi for being released from prison, Rajmata Vijay Raja Scindia Gwalior, who was one of the principal financiers of the Bharatiya Janasangh. So she was detained in a guest house, but after a short while, Rajmata, she felt that it was morally wrong for her to be detained in relatively comfortable conditions while her party workers were jailed in harsh conditions. So she requested to be transferred to Tihar jail to be together with her party workers. But after a few months of being imprisoned in very harsh conditions in Tihar jail, Rajmata Vijay Raja Scindia Gwalior, she too gave an apology to Indira Gandhi and she was released. And Subramanian Swamy, he had written an article titled Unlearned Lessons of the Emergency, which was published in the Hindu newspaper on Tuesday, 13th June 2000. And Subramanian Swamy wrote, during that 1975 to 1977 period, most of the leaders of the BJP and RSS had betrayed the struggle against the emergency. It is on record in the Maharashtra Assembly proceedings that the then RSS chief Bala Saheb Devras wrote several apology letters to Indira Gandhi from inside the Yarawada jail in Pune, disassociating the RSS from the JP led movement and offering to work for the infamous 20-point program. She did not reply to any of his letters. Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee also wrote apology letters to Indira Gandhi, and she had obliged him. In fact, for most of the 20-month emergency, Mr. Vajpayee was out on parole after having given a written assurance that he would not participate in any programs against the government. The other vivid description of the erstwhile Janasangh worthies who chose to walk out of prison on promise of good behavior is given in a book written by the Akali leader, Mr. Surjit Singh Barnala. So, this is what Subramanian Swamy had written in the Hindu newspaper in June uh, 2000. And after Nanaji Deshmukh fell into a police trap in South Delhi and Dattopant Thengadi too was captured, the morale of the RSS cadres had plummeted. And by September 1976, even those RSS activists who had been staunchly opposing the emergency till then, they were ready to throw in the towel because the families of the 40,000 RSS members who had been jailed were in dire straits financially. Over 80 RSS members had died in prison, and in November 1976, over 30 leaders of the RSS, led by Madhavrao Mule, Dattopant Thengdi, and Moropant Pingle, they wrote to Indira Gandhi promising that if all RSS workers were first released from prison, then the RSS would support the emergency. And their document of surrender, to take effect from January 1977, was processed by my father, H.Y. Sharada Prasad. He was the information advisor to Indira Gandhi. So my father processed this RSS document of surrender, and he described it as cringing. And I have written in the Indian Express and in the Open magazine about this RSS document of surrender. And this was also confirmed by Subramanian Swamy in his article in the Hindu on 13th June 2000. I must add that not all in the RSS were in a surrender mode. The exceptions were Madhavrao Mule, Dattopant Thengdi, and Moropant Pingle. Mule had taken a tremendous liking to me. He supported me fully while I was abroad and while I was in hiding in India. But a tearful Mule told me in early November 1976 that I had better escape abroad again, since the RSS had finalized the document of surrender to be signed in end January of 1977, and that on Mr. Vajpayee's insistence, I would be sacrificed to appease an irate Indira and a fulminating Sanjay, whose names I had successfully blackened abroad by my campaign. I asked him about the struggle, and he said that in the country, everyone had become reconciled to the 42nd Amendment, and democracy as we had known it was over. Democracy was over for the RSS, but not for all others. A few weeks later, general elections to the Lok Sabha were declared. No one quite understood then what had made Indira Gandhi do that. But as a consequence, the RSS luckily did not need to sign the document of surrender. So this is what Subramaniam Swamy had written in 2000 in the Hindu newspaper. And I find it significant that both my father, H.Y. Sharada Prasad, and Subramaniam Swamy, they had independently used the term document of surrender, and not a term like an agreement with the RSS or an understanding with the RSS. And when the Janata government was being formed in March 1977, JP realized that he had then been inextricably entangled in the tentacles of the RSS. So JP nominated his protege and political heir, Chandrasekhar, to be the president of the Janata Party, to curb the power of the RSS over the Janata government. And Chandrasekhar detested the RSS. Chandrasekhar was a staunch socialist and absolutely secular. So the consequence of JP getting involved with the RSS under the influence of Subramaniam Swamy and Ramnath Goenka of the Indian Express is that this once pariah, this untouchable organization, the RSS, had become part of the political mainstream. And Morarji Desai's Janata government fell apart in July 1979 over the issue of Janata Party MPs who came from the RSS nursery, refusing to sever their links with the RSS. And Subramanian Swamy had written in his article in The Hindu on 13th June 2000, JP's heart had been broken when he saw an India utterly passive to the death of democracy, while those who had earlier egged him on, the RSS, were now repudiating him and offering to work for the nation's tormentors. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who became the foreign minister in Morarji Desai's Janata government in 1977, he quickly neutralized both Nanaji Deshmukh and Subramaniam Swamy, the other two prominent leaders of the RSS. And Nanaji Deshmukh, he got so disgusted with the Janata government's self destruction and misgovernance that in the January 1980 elections, Nanaji Deshmukh endorsed Indira Gandhi. and again after the assassination of Indira Gandhi in the December 1984 elections. Nanaji Deshmukh endorsed Rajiv Gandhi. And the advanced publicity material for Neeraja Chowdhury's book says, quoting a member of the Mohan Meekan liquor family, the RSS helped Indira Gandhi come to power in 1980. Indira Gandhi's close aide, Anil Bali, is quoted as saying, she knew the RSS had supported her, but she never acknowledged it publicly. She used to admit privately that had it not been for the support by the RSS, she could not have won 353 seats, one more that she had won in her heyday in 1971, Bali claims. And I find it very significant that the Sarasanga Chalak of the RSS, K.S. Sudarshan, as well as the VHP Supremo, Acharya Giriraj Kishore, they highly praised Indira Gandhi during Atal Bihari Vajpayee's tenure as Prime Minister. So K.S. Sudarshan and Giriraj Kishore described Indira Gandhi as India's best ever prime minister. And they said it during the reign of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. It's noteworthy that Subramanian Swamy had also written during the Vajpayee regime, a cadre based fascist organization is in control of the levers of power. This organization has spawned lumpen front organizations that do not hesitate to kill even defenseless missionaries of religion. Worse, there is every indication that institutions are being undermined by a creeping emergency. The BJP has set into motion the overhaul of the constitution, not just a mere amendment to it. It has commenced the rewriting of history. Its sister front organizations, such as the VHP and the Bajrang Dal, are already unleashing eerie and shadowy terror at the micro level of society. How can the BJP then speak of defending democracy? So, this is what Subramaniam Swamy had written during the tenure of the Vajpayee government. So, I think I should conclude here. So, please subscribe to my channels on YouTube and Instagram, and please connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook pages, Instagram threads, and Twitter. On my YouTube channel, I'll be uploading several more videos about politics, the economy, business and industry, and about technology, especially about emerging technology breakthroughs and policy issues. So please subscribe to my YouTube and Instagram channels. This is Ravi Visvesvaraya, Sharada Prasad, saying goodbye. Have a great day. This is Ravi Visvesvaraya, Sharada Prasad, saying goodbye.